Shabbat Shalom, family. This is Mama Sia
and Papa Sia
here to help you get your life in the Word. Okay? Because that's the only place to get it.
Hallelujah.
It's either Word or world. And we know the world is not the place to get it because the God of this world is Hasatan. And you know he just wants to devour and destroy you. He ain't trying to help you get your life. He want to tear it down, tear it apart. Yours, your mates, your children, your grandchildren, everybody. He just want to tear it up. But here's the thing. He got to get your permission because it says he is searching to and fro to see who he may devour. May means you got to agree with him. You got to give him permission. And we're hoping that as long as you stay in his word, you'll know better. Okay? Because the power of your life, Yah put where?
In your tongue.
In your tongue. Yes, it did. Yes, it did. Yes, it did.
Whatever you call it, that's what it's going to be.
That's what it's going to be, what you're going to call it. So you can either speak from your faith or you can speak from your fear.
Yes.
And wherever you speak, that's what you draw into you. So if you know that, why would you speak from your fear? Does that make any sense to you? Like we used to have a friend in Georgia who used to always say, "You stupid." So if you're gonna speak from your fear, what was his name? I forget. Rudy. Oh, he was more than a friend. Hi, Rudy. We miss you so much. You are like a brother. So if you are listening, if you see us and say, I know them, please contact us, okay? We miss you. We would love to hear from you. But it was our good friend, our good brother, Rudy, who taught us, you stupid. He used to say stupid. He would say stupid. So the point was, if you're going to speak from your fear, in the words of Rudy, you stupid. Because you're going to get what you're speaking from. He said, I put the power of your life in your mouth. This little bitty thing right here is going to lead your whole life.
Yes.
It's going to lead and guide your whole life. Yes. So you got to learn how to speak from your faith. And faith comes by hearing, babies. And hearing by the word. Got to hear the word. Because where else you getting your hearing from? The world. Come on now. The world's knowledge according to the word is incomplete and corrupt. What little bit they do have is corrupt. It ain't the truth. Because if Hasatan is the God of this world, Hasatan is also the father of lies. Okay, I didn't even mean to go all up in there like that there. Because we're supposed to be doing Bible study. That'd be a good get your life lesson. But okay, let's move forward.
Okay.
We left off at Genesis 15. We are going to be talking about the covenant that Yah made with Abram. Okay, so let's do this. Okay. And if it's your birthday today, happy birthday. Okay, and Yah, take over. In the name of your son, Yeshua HaMashiach, just take over when we open our mouth. And we thank you and praise you for it. In your son, Yeshua HaMashiach's name. Hallelujah. All right, let's do this.
Okay. All right, chapter 15 of Genesis. After these things, the word of the Elohim came unto Abram in a vision, saying, Fear not, Abram, I am thy shield and thy exceeding great reward.
Okay, stop right there. I forgot to turn our volume up. So give me one moment to get this volume cut up. Because sometimes people say they can't hear. And that's why. Because she forgot to turn the volume up.
Okay.
Okay, let's keep going.
You want to go on from there?
Verse
2.
Okay. Read that one more time. Okay. Forgive me, people, but I want you to be able to hear me. Okay? All right.
After these things, the word of the Elohim came unto Abram in a vision, saying, Fear not, Abram, I am thy shield and thy exceeding great reward. And Abram said, Elohim Yahuwah, wilt thou give me, seeing I go childless, and the steward of my house is Eleazar of Damascus.
Okay, let's tighten that up a little bit. I'm going to start with 1 And I'm going to read through 2. After these things, the word of the Lord came to Abram in a vision, saying, Fear not, Abram, I am your shield, your abundant compensation, and your reward shall be exceedingly great. You know, y'all saying the same thing to us today as his people, as seeds of Abraham or Abram, because his name hasn't gotten changed yet, but it's coming. He is saying that he is our shield and he is going to be our abundant compensation.
Hallelujah.
Well, that is so wonderful. He's going to give you double for your trouble. Okay? And we all know that if you look like me, you've been through some trouble.
Yes.
In this world. Okay?
Yeah.
And your reward is going to be exceedingly great. What a promise. What a promise to stand on when things look hopeless. And Abram said, Lord God, what can you give me since I am going on from this world childless, and he who shall be the owner and heir of my house is this steward, Eliezer of Damascus. He's like, well, what can you give me? I'm leaving this world soon here because he's already, what,
90 years old.
So I don't have much longer here. And what can you give me? Because all that if you give me that great compensation and my reward's going to be exceedingly great, who do I give it to? Because the only people I have is my stewards. I don't have any kids. I'm childless. Me and Sarai, her name has got changed yet either. We don't have children. We're childless, and we are way past the age. Okay, let's go.
Okay. And Abram said, Behold, to me thou hast given no seed, and lo, one born in my house is mine heir.
Okay, let's see what it says over here. And Abram continued, Look, you have given me no child, and a servant born in my house is my heir. All right, that was pretty self-explanatory. Go ahead.
And behold, the word of the Elohim came unto him, saying, This shall not be thine heir, but he that shall come forth out of thy own bowels shall be thine heir.
Tighten up. And behold, the word of the Lord came to him, saying, This man shall not be your heir, but he who shall come from your own body. That's what he meant when he said your own bowels. From your own body shall be your heir. 5.
And he brought him forth abroad and said, Look towards the heaven, and tell the stars, if thou be able to number them. And he said unto him, So shall be thy seed. And he believed in the Elohim, and he counted it to him for righteousness.
Okay, let's go back and read that amplified. And he brought him outside his tent into the starlight and said, Look now toward the heavens and count the stars. Wow, if you're able to number them. Then he said to him, So shall your descendant be. He took him outside and he said, Look up in toward the heaven. You know, there's a heaven and there's a heaven's heaven. Okay, and the heaven is another word for the firmament. Remember that in Genesis? And that's where he put the stars and the sun and the moon. It's up there. Okay. And number 6 says, and he, Abram, believed in, trusted in, relied on, remained steadfast to the Lord, and he counted it to him as righteousness, right standing with God or with Yah, because he believed. He believed in Yah. He trusted Yah. He relied on Yah, and he remained steadfast to him. And Yah counted that to Abram as righteousness. It wasn't by any deeds he's done.
No works.
So all of you who think that you've earned your righteousness, that devil is a lie. No, you haven't. No, you haven't. Yeshua earned that righteousness for you. You don't have any righteousness. You don't have any holiness either. Yah gave you that. He told you, don't think higher of yourself than you ought, because all have sinned and fallen short. You were born in sin and iniquity.
Yes.
And once again, the word iniquity means without spiritual or a moral consciousness. Your spiritual and your moral consciousness got severed when Adam did what he did in the garden, or Adam. Him and Chua, remember him and Eve? You're supposed to be picking up your Hebrew words.
Yes.
But anyway, whenever they did what it was that they did your spirit and your moral consciousness. Moral means doing what's right. It was severed. It was cut off. It died. So you don't have one. But because he believed, and that's how we are righteous, believing in his son, Yeshua HaMashiach, however you want to say it. It's by believing in him and what he did for us by giving his life, redeeming us from sin and death. Okay? Got it? It ain't your righteousness. Put your little nose down and stop thinking higher of your little nasty, filthy rag self than you ought to. And stop judging other people.
Yes.
Because if you realize that you filthy rags, how you going to judge anybody else for what they do? You can't judge nobody. You can't judge the hooker. You can't judge the hoe. You can't judge the alcoholic. You can't judge the drug addict. Your best is filthy rags.
So judge not, lest ye be judged.
I'm sorry, something popped up on my screen and I had to try to deal with it. I probably should not have clicked it, X'd it off, but Father help me because we right in the middle of taping. But I'm just saying to you, you can't judge people because your best is filthy rags. He told you in his word, and we're going to get there. Judge not, lest ye be judged.
Mm-hmm.
He said the only one you have a right to judge is yourself, and he told you to do that harshly. He said get the mote out your own eye before you try to get it. He said get the beam out your own eye before you try to get the mote out your brother's eye. In other words, you got this big old beam up in your eye, and you actually trying to go after this little bitty mote in somebody else's eye. Do you know who you are? Do you know that your best is filthy rags? There was no exception if you were a preacher, if you were a pastor, if you were a pope, if you were a bishop, if you were a doctor, if you were a lawyer. There's no exception. If you're a historian, if you're a reporter, if you're a mother, if you're a father, it don't matter. Were you born a man? Okay, then your best is filthy rags. Got it. There's only one man I'm not born a man, but born a woman. There's only one man that was born of woman who was not filthy rags. Anybody know who that is? That was Yeshua HaMashiach. Show you right. Okay? All right. I just want you to be clear on that. Because sometimes people just get a little uppity. Like I'm all that in the bag of chips. Baby, you ain't even the crumbs. Okay? All right. Let's keep going.
Okay. And he said unto him, I am the Elohim that brought thee out of Ur of the Chaldees, and gave thee this land to inherit it.
Okay, let me see if I need. He said, I'm the same Lord who brought you out of Ur of the Chaldees to give you this land as an inheritance. I'm the same one. That's me. All right, 8.
And he said, Elohim Yahuwah, whereby shall I know that I shall inherit it?
Okay, he said, what shall I know that I shall inherit it? How am I know? How am I going to know that I'm going to inherit this land? Okay, keep going.
And he said unto him, take me an heifer of 3 years old, and a she-goat of 3 years old, and a ram of 3 years old, and a turtle dove, and a young pigeon.
Okay, that was pretty self-explanatory. Keep up.
And he took unto him all these things, and divided them in the midst, and laid each piece one against another. But the birds divided he not.
Okay, hold on. Let's get a little tighten up right there. Mm-hmm. And he brought him all these, all that he told him to bring him, the heifer, the she-goat, the ram, and turtle dove, and a young pigeon. He brought him all these. He cut them down the middle into halves, and laid each half opposite the others. But the birds he did not divide. Okay.
And when the fowls came down upon the carcasses, Abram drove them away. And when the sun was gone down, a deep sleep fell upon Abram. And lo, a horror of great darkness fell upon him.
Okay, hold on. Let's tighten that up. Okay, so when the birds came to swoop down on the carcasses, Abram drove them away. Get on, get the step in. You're not going to eat this. This is not for you. And when the sun was setting, a deep sleep came over Abram. A deep sleep. He done went to sleep now. Nodded off. Okay, he nodded off. Okay, let's just be kind of like kind of act it out, just so you kind of see. Okay. Okay, he didn't nod. I don't know if he was snoring or not. I just added that. But anyway, and a horror, a terror, a shuddering fear of great darkness assailed and oppressed him. He's having a nightmare. Okay, keep going.
And this part is important because
it is.
This gives you a clue of what people he's talking about.
Okay. And why he having a nightmare.
Right. And he said unto Abram, Know of surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years.
Okay, we got to stop right there because I need to break this down so you really seeing this, okay? 13. And God said to Abram, no, positively, without a doubt, that your descendants, all the seeds of Abram, all his descendants, remember all them stars? He said, look up, I'm going to give you seeds, descendants like the stars. If you can number them, then you're going to be able to number your descendants. How many of you know that we are the descendants of Abraham? How many of you know that? Let's just be clear, because if you don't, you are. If you look like me, you are. Okay? If you're that so-called Negro that came over in slavery, whose ancestors did the slavery thing, you're the descendants of Abraham. Abram, okay? Abraham is the Hebrew name, but he hasn't been named Abraham yet. I just want you to know you're his descendants. And he said, no, positively, that your descendants will be strangers, dwelling as temporary residents in a land that is not theirs, Egypt. And they will be slaves there and will be afflicted and oppressed for 400 years. Okay, how many of you know that this is our Egypt? Because if you familiar with your word, the Hebrews that were in Egypt were not there for 100 years. If you do your research. And the whole time they weren't there, they were not slaves. So for some years,
most of the time they were there.
They were living large and in charge because of Joseph. Joseph had favor with the Pharaoh, and he brought his people back, and they dwelt in Goshen. I'm sorry. He brought his people back, and they were living large. It wasn't until Joseph died and the Pharaoh died that the descendants that came up didn't know nothing about Joseph, didn't know nothing about what he had done. And he looked over at some people and said, oh my goodness, it's a lot of them. Boy, if trouble ever broke out, a war ever broke out, it's so many of them. If they ever join forces with anybody, our behinds is in trouble. Okay, so he wasn't talking about that Egypt. Let's be clear. You know, we're in our Egypt right now.
The word Egypt is representative of bondage.
Of bondage, of slavery. And after a while, like I said, it wasn't until Joseph died, the Pharaoh died. So, you know, that had to be years and years down the road before that happened. Because first of all, a new one had to be born that didn't know nothing about that Pharaoh or about Joseph. So quite a few generations, a couple of generations had to happen, and they were still free. And then they went into bondage. Then they were taken into bondage. But they weren't there in bondage for 400 years. The devil is a liar. No, they wasn't. That's us. Okay? How many of you know we've been in the bondage for 400 years? We're the only people that's been in the bondage for 400 years. We are the only people that fits, that description fits. Hold on. And they will be slaves there. How many of you know we've been slaves here? How many of you know? You should know that. If you don't know nothing else, y'all know black folk have been slaves up in here. Okay? And will be afflicted and oppressed for 400 years. Have we not been afflicted? Have we not been oppressed? For those of you who are wondering, why does everybody hate us? Why have we been going through what we've been going through for the last 400 years? Whoop, there it is. Right there. Okay? And he's going to tell you why. Keep going.
Okay. And also, that nation whom they shall serve will I judge, and afterward shall they come out with great substance. And thou shalt go to thy fathers in peace. Thou shalt be buried in a good old age.
Okay, stop right there. But I will bring judgment on that nation whom they will serve. So the nation that's had us in bondage for over 400 years as slaves, he's going to bring judgment on them. He said that.
And I didn't say it. You're starting to see it every day.
Because there is a serious spirit of wickedness, oppression, of demonic activity going on in the world today. People have just, the whole spirit of this country has changed, of this world pretty much has changed. There is so much demonic activity going on today. You be like, wow, really? Wow, people are doing crazy stuff. People are thinking that the wrong thing is the right thing and the right thing is the wrong thing. People have really lost their mind. They rude they just rude. They killing folks, killing each other. I mean, it's just like Satan and his demons are just running wild. You know, his days is numbered, and he's trying to take down all that he could take with him. And he said he's going to bring judgment on the nation whom we serve, and afterward they will come out with great possessions. That's us, those that have been in bondage for over 400 years. So don't worry about your restitution. They might not want to give it to us, but y'all got our backs.
The Most High
Okay?
Power.
He got our back. He said we're going to come out with great possession. Just like them Israelites did in Egypt. They came out with great possession. They just told them people, y'all said, go tell them to give you their stuff. And they just gave them their stuff, your gold, your jewelry. They just gave them all. So all of you who condemn believers for wearing gold, wearing jewelry, Yah told them to go get it from the Egyptians. So why would he say that if you know? Now, I think anything in excess, when you start to look, it starts to become too much. Everything done in moderation is okay. So stop that lie talking about, folks who wear gold and jewelry and all that. They ain't right. They ain't say, stop. Because y'all gave it to him. And now he's telling us we coming out with great possessions too. Did you read 15?
Yes, I did.
And you shall go to your fathers in peace. In other words, when you leave here, you're going to leave here in peace. You're not going to leave here all bound up. Now, some did. But them 400 years had to be served first. How many of you know we've done those 400? Them 400. We have done them. And things are turning around and the world is going crazy. They know something's happening. They just don't know what or why.
And the clock started ticking in 1619.
Okay, here we go. And you shall go in peace. You shall be buried at a good old age. At a good old age. Okay, all right, 16.
Okay. But in the fourth generation, they shall come hither again. For the iniquities of the Amorites is not yet full. And it came to pass that when the sun went down and it was dark, behold, a smoking furnace and a burning lamp that passed between those pieces.
Okay, let's back this up. Okay, and this is why he's having a nightmare, because he is seeing his descendants in that bondage for 400 years, being oppressed, being raped, being murdered, being your tongues cut out, your feet cut out, being stripped and robbed of your language, of your heritage, your children being used as alligator bait, being slaves, just being beaten, just being thrown. He is seeing all the horrible things that us and our ancestors have gone through. Yah is showing it to him in a vision, and that's why he's having a nightmare, and that's why he is horrified. Okay, and he says, and in the fourth generation, they, your descendants, shall come back here to Canaan. That's the land of our blessings, of our prosperity. Again, for the iniquity of the Amorites, for the iniquity of Babylon, honey. How many of you know we in Babylon? It's not full and yet complete yet. Just hold on. But it's almost there. Okay? Did you do 17?
I did.
When the sun had gone down and a thick darkness had come on, behold, a smoking oven, and a flaming torch passed between the people. You know what? That made me fall down on my knees. I'd have probably needed a depend right about there. But I don't think that they had invented them. Now, let's picture this. The sun has gone down. And now we got this thick darkness that has come. And now a smoking oven and a flaming torch is coming from heaven, and it just went right through the pieces of, remember the animals that he laid side by side? The only ones that didn't lay side by side, he didn't cut open, was the bird. Now we have, the sun is gone. It has gotten really, really dark. We got a smoking oven. We got all this smoke, and out of all this smoke is coming a flaming torch. And it's passing right between those pieces of those animals that he cut open, right before his eyes, right out the heaven. Just right there before his face. Wow. And wow, and wow. Okay. My eyes would have just been out my head. Like, what? Oh my goodness, to see something just drop down out of heaven, fill with smoke and a big old torch, and whoosh! Woo! I better hold on to my wig.
Those pieces.
Some of them got fried. Okay, whoo, okay, come on. Because I done went off the deep end.
And in the same day, the Elohim made a covenant with Abram, saying, Unto thy seed I have given this land, from the river of Egypt unto the great river, the river Euphrates, the Canaanites, the Kenzites, and the Cadmonites, and the Hittites, and the Perizzites, and the Rephaims, and the Amorites, and the Canaanites, and the Girgashites, and the Jebusites.
Okay, I'm going to read that over. Will you do me a favor?
You go get that over.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to read that while he does me. My alarm is going off. My alarm that says it's time to drink some more water. And I can hear it, and I don't know if you can hear it too, but we're going to make sure you can. On the same day, the Lord made a covenant or a promise or a pledge. That's what a covenant is. It's a promise or a pledge with Abram, saying to your descendants, I have given this land. From the river of Egypt to the great river Euphrates, the land of the Kenites, the Kenizzites, the Cadmonites, the Hittites, the Perizzites, the Raphaim, the Amorites, the Canaanites, the Girgashites, and the Jebusites. That's a lot of heights and sights, ain't it? Okay, let's see if I have any extra notes up in here. Let's see that God was waiting. Okay, God was waiting on their iniquities to reach a certain level, which would take 400 years. Let's say yes, Abram. Okay. All right. God told Abram he was his compensation for what he had done. Abram wanted an heir, but he was old. God promises a child, an heir, and he promises descendants as many as the stars. Okay, let's go on to 16. Now, this is going to get a little deep and personal.
Complicated. Yeah.
It looks like if it were God setting Abram up for a great blessing. Okay. So now we're getting ready to talk about Hagar and Ishmael. Yeah. Okay, this is getting ready to get deep. All right, let's go.
Now Sarai, Abram's wife, bare him no children, and she had a handmaid, an Egyptian, whose name was Hagar.
Okay, let me clear that up. I need to tighten that up right there for you so you can see this picture. Sarai was his wife, honey, and she didn't have any children. She was barren, okay? But she did have an Egyptian. How many know that Egyptian? They black people. They black folks kind of look like us, but we're not the same. They kind of look like us, remember? Because Yeshua was able to go hide amongst them and not be detected. They had to look like us in order for that to happen. Yeshua couldn't have been white and go hide up amongst them Egyptians. Y'all know what them Egyptians look like. We got some of them, some from Africa. Here in this country, you know what they look like. Now you think a white man can go up in there and hide? Come on, stop. No, he cannot. They're gonna stick out like a sore thumb. Okay. So she had an Egyptian maid. Sarah had a black maid. Breaking on down. And her name was Hagar. Now she couldn't have no kids, but she had a black maid whose name was Hagar. Now she was black too. Or because she couldn't have been white, because why would she say, go have a black let me just tell you. Okay, read on, Joe. Okay. Read on, Papa.
And Sarai said unto Abram, Behold, now the Elohim hath restrained me from bearing. I pray thee, go in unto my maid. It may be that I may obtain children by her. And Abram hearkened to the voice of Sarai.
Okay, because see, that was so loaded. This is one time you notice that he listened to his wife. Let's see what Sarah just said. And Sarah said to her husband, that's like me saying to Papa, okay, Papa, well, since I'm barren and I can't have no kids, see, because the Lord has restrained me from bearing children, and I'm asking you to go in and have intercourse with my maid. Oh, the devil is a lie. You can take one step in that helpless 10 if you want to. I will burn. Oh, it's going to get ugly up in here. But see, that's why y'all knows when to let us be born. Because see, they'd have killed me. Because women didn't have a whole lot of rights back then. Women had to do what they were told. But sister girl, I'd have had a whole lot of, yeah, you can go up in there if you want to. You and her going to meet your maker today. Okay? Don't play. She done told this her husband. Since I'm barren, since the Lord has caused me from bearing children, I'm asking you to have intercourse with my maid. Are you stupid? Girl, that would not have happened. Now, I don't know how many of y'all would do some mess like that, but sure wouldn't be me. I wish my husband would try to take, if I had a handmaiden or I wish he might. You know what? He's going to lose that part. You think who is that? Lorena Bobby. Child, I'm finna do the Lorena Bobby. Yeah, you can step up in there if you want to, but you ain't going to have nothing to work with when you get up in there. Try me if you want to. Anyway, she said, go up in there with my maid and have sex with her. Huh? Joe, you know what? I'm too through. And so that I can obtain children by her. You know what? We going out without no kids, honey. If y'all can't do it, he can't put one in my womb, you won't get none. Okay, because you ain't finna go up in there and have sex with my housekeeper, with my servant, with my personal assistant. And Abram listened. Oh, you think he was going to say, no, He getting a chance. I'm so glad I wasn't born back then, because them men got to have a whole lot of women. They got to have as many wives as they wanted to, or concubines. Oh, really? That's another name for a Lord piece of heifer that you almost said. I had to catch myself. Y'all see me catch myself? I had to catch myself. I almost stepped out that flesh. But anyway, they can have concubines and women, but women can only have one man. Oh, no. See, you know what? That wouldn't have worked out well for me. Like I said, I'd have been stoned. Because if you had been with more than one man, or if you were disrespectful or disobedient to your husband, you know, they would stone you, girl. I'd have been so stoned. So stoned if man had tried to, if Papa had tried to go up in that tent with that man, y'all might as well stone me, because I'm going to stone him. And then I'm just going to hit myself in the head with the rock after I'm done. Because that ain't even fit to happen. Women, don't you dare tell your men to go in and have intercourse with other women. Are you stupid? Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. That could cost you your marriage. Because it almost cost him his. Keep reading. Hold on. Wait a minute. And he listened. Of course he did. And he did what Sarah said. Now, that's one time that man didn't get her no back talk. That's one time he was in agreement with her taking charge and her telling him what to do. Any other time it was my Lord, my Lord. Did you see me roll my eyes? Let me do that again. Bitch, you know what the devil is like. Go ahead on, because I can just stop right there for the next 30 minutes, but I won't, because I'm just too through. Number 3.
And Sarai, Abram's wife, took Hagar, her maid, the Egyptian, after Abram had dwelt 10 years in the land of Canaan, and gave her to her husband Abram to be his wife.
See what I mean? They can have as many wives as they want. I'll be like, well, why can't I have a couple of husbands? Shoot, that ain't just. I won't tell. Quit playing. Okay, keep going.
And he went in unto Hagar, and she conceived. And when she saw that she had conceived, her mistress was despised in her eyes.
Okay, let me break that down. See, this is why you don't do that foolishness, because this is what the kind of stuff that can happen. You asking for trouble. First of all, y'all had already told him and Sarah that he was going to bless them with descendants. And you couldn't wait, could you? So you just going to try to make it happen for yourself. That's what Sarah did. She couldn't wait on the promise of Yah. So she's going to try to go up in there and make things happen for herself. How many of you know when you don't wait on his promise and you go up in there trying to make stuff happen for yourself, you just finna mess some stuff up. You finna mess some stuff up. You better wait. If Yah done promised you something, wait for it. Because if you try to fix it out yourself, it is never going to turn out right. It will not. So here we go. So now, Sarah, Abram's wife, took Hagar, her Egyptian maid, after Abram had dwelt 10 years in the land of Canaan. So they've been there 10 years, and after 10 years, she's going to take her maid, her little black maid. Sarah with her little black self, going to take her little black maid, even though one was a Hebrew and one was an Egyptian, but they was both black. But they were not the same, okay? Because one was a Hebrew and one was an Egyptian. Then you just hear what I say? Pay attention. And gave her to her husband to be his secondary wife. So he go up in there. He wasn't putting up no protest. I know you ain't. You're getting some free shoestrings. Okay, here we go. Let it go right on past. Okay. And he had, yes. And he had intercourse with her. And she becomes pregnant. And when she saw that she was pregnant, she started looking at contempt to his first wife, who couldn't have no kids. See, and at that moment, I'd have ripped that baby right out your side, to punch you in your face. Because now you're going to try to look at contempt. Here we go. I'm pregnant, and she couldn't have this baby, but I'm special. I have Abram's baby. See, you better hold me back. You better hold me, because I got some choice words I'm finna call her. And it ain't going to be a child of the Most High Yah. It's going to be one of them big words and them. I don't even know if they had them words, but I'm finna introduce you to them. I was to myself, I'm pregnant with Papa Sia's baby. Oh, you know what? It's finna get ugly up in this camp for Papa Sia and for that little heifer, that little black heifer.
And it did.
Okay. Now she looking at it. She despising her. I'm still doing the contempt thing. Despising you because you could. And I'm rubbing my belly. Oh, Abram, could you please give me a bag of a pickle? I need a pickle. I'm carrying your baby. You know what? I'm finna beat that heifer down. First of all, I ain't finna send you up in there. The devil is a lie. Okay, let's go. Because see, I done got all heated and bothered like this is happening to me. Come on.
And Sarai said unto Abram, my wrong be upon thee. I have given my maid into thy bosom. And when she saw that she had conceived, I was despised in her eyes. The Elohim judged between me and thee.
Okay, now let pump your brakes, because see, now Sarah tripping. She tripping. She trying to blame Abram for this man. Whose idea was it? That wasn't his idea. That was your idea, Sarah, to send your little black maid up in there with your little black husband to bring some little black children. And now she done went up in there and did it. This she's saying, made the responsibility for my wrong It says for my wrong. May the responsibility for my wrong and deprivations of rights be on you. Really? How you figure that when you told that woman to go up in there and sleep with your man and you told your man sleep with her? Now she done did it and she done conceived and now she's taunting you. She looking down on you because she done did something you couldn't do. Little barren Hebrew heifer couldn't have the baby, but I could with my fertile womb. And I'm having your husband's baby. Okay, she talking about that be on you. I gave my maid into your bosom. And when she see you just contradicted yourself. How you gonna say the responsibility for my wrong and deprivation of rights be on you? Cause I gave my maid to you. No, then it was you. Made the responsibility and of your wrong be on you, sister. My sister. Now you want to blame him. And when she saw that she was with child, I was contemptible and despised. You I don't know why you thought you would be able to give your man another woman and that was gonna work out good. Because what if he started liking her more he like you? Well, what if he started like knocking tits with her? I don't know if they had boots, knocking sandals. More with her than with you. How that gonna make you feel? See, that was not a good decision. You should have just waited because Yah promised you he was going to give you a child. And now she's saying, I was contemptible and despised in her eyes. Of course you were. Because women are catty and jealous. And play all them little feline games. May the Lord be the judge between you and me. Oh, he's going to. Okay, number 6.
But Abram said unto Sarai, Behold, thy maid is in thy hand. Do to her as it pleaseth thee. And when Sarai dealt hardly with her, she fled from her face.
Okay, let me break down what Abram said. First of all, don't be blaming me.
Right, I ain't
you tripping. Okay, he said, but to Sarah, see here, your maid is in your hands and power. You the one sitting up in here. I just agree. Of course I'm going to agree. It's going to work out to my advantage. But you're the ones, you set this up. Do as you please with her. Don't come at me with that. You better go to that heifer who is taunting you, who is looking down on you because you couldn't have my baby. Now me looking at me, that ain't me doing that. You started this mess. Do as you please with her. And when Sarai dealt severely with her, humbling and afflicting her, yeah, I bet she did. I'd have humbled and afflicted her too. I'd have afflicted her. Yeah, she'd have been missing a left arm and a right foot and a couple of teeth. And her hair would have been a big old bald spot up in there. She wouldn't have been pregnant no more by the time I got through stumping her. And so after she got through humbling and afflicting her, she fled. Now she fleeing. Oh no, don't run, not one. You been up in here taunting you. Oh, and now you done got the beat down. Oh, now you ready to run? Oh no, don't run now, honey. Okay, keep going, cause see y'all done got me caught up.
And the angel of the Elohim found her by a fountain of water in the wilderness, by the fountain in the way of Shur, in the way to Shur. And he said, Hagar, Sarai's maid, whence comest thou? And whither wilt thou go? And she said, I flee from the face of my mistress Sarai.
Okay, hold on. Let me tighten that up because it's a good story, eh? Oh, child, it's like it's the
Family
word
drama.
term.
Yep. Family drama.
Dysfunctional family. Okay, here we go. But the angel of the Lord found her by a spring of water in the wilderness on the road to Shur. She took off running. She ran the race. She got that beat down. She need that beat down because you should not have acting all whatever. And he said, Hagar, Sarah's maid, where did you come from? And where are you intending to go? Girl, where you going? Where you think you going? And she said, I'm running away from my mistress Sarah. And did you do 9?
Not yet.
Okay, she's like, I'm running away from my mistress. She done did me wrong. Was it who started that? You need to take a little responsibility and ownership too, because you was up in there taunting her. And you know you were. You know you little catty heifer. You know you catty heifers be taunting each other, picking around, picking at each other. Stop. Then when she beat you down, now you don't be crying now, because you was acting all tough and bad and there taunting your belly. Okay, let's keep going.
And the angel of the Elohim said unto her, return to thy mistress and submit thyself under her hand.
Okay, let me tell you what he told her. And the angel said to her, take your behind back to your mistress and humble and submit yourself into her control. Because see, you was acting all cocky. You wasn't being humble. You lost your mind. You forgot who you were. You forgot who she was. She had control over you. And you up in there taunting her. Girl, you should have got stoned. But you was with child. That's the only reason she didn't probably beat you down worse. I hope she pulled out some hair though. Okay, so he says, get yourself on back and submit yourself and stop acting all cocky and taunting that woman. Okay, keep going.
And the angel of the Elohim said unto her, I will multiply thy seed exceedingly, that it shall not be numbered for multitude.
Okay. Also, the angel of the Lord said to her, I will multiply your descendants as well. I'm going to multiply your little Egyptian children. And so that they shall not be numbered for multitude. I'm going to give you a whole lot of them too. Okay, I know how this whole mess got started because Sarah was moving out of line. Y'all didn't tell her to do that.
Right.
He didn't tell her to do that. He didn't tell her to go send your mistress up in there. He said, I'm going to give you some descendants. But you back there snickering like you didn't believe what he said. Did we even read that part? Did we miss that? We missed that.
We didn't miss it.
Because she was snickering when the angel
That's
came
in
and
the
told
book of Jasher.
No, that's here. Because I went over it today. How did we miss that? Because she was snickering, laughing. You sure? Well, let me just go back. No, that was 14. Maybe that's coming up. Okay. Anyway, where we at? Because I done lost myself. Maybe it's coming up.
11.
On what verse? Because I done got all excited.
We're on
16?
verse 11 of chapter 16. Yes.
Okay, so the angel continues. See now, you are with child, and you're going to bear a son, and you're going to call. Oh, dang. Well, where you at? Number 10?
Yeah, that's the last one I read was number 10.
Okay, and I'm going to multiply your descendants exceedingly so that you have a whole lot of descendants. Child, and I got way too personally caught up in this story. Because, my thing has always been, if you want to know how somebody else feels, put yourself in their shoes. Mm-hmm. And it'll give you a better. So before you start talking about what you would have done, what you could have done, what you should have done, put yourself in their shoes. And then it'll give you an idea of how those people really feel. It's called empathy. Put yourself in their shoes. Pretend this happened to you. Pretend that's what you did. Now how would you feel? That's why I'm all caught up. Because my empathy is way too strong. Okay.
Well, this is just a prime example of what happens when you walk outside of the will of the Most High.
Come on now, say that again. It
always ends up a mess.
It does.
And this is exactly what we have right here, a mess.
Yeah.
Okay, but the angel of the Lord is coming in. Most High Yahweh is going to try to clean it up. He's going to not try. He will clean it up. Okay.
What verse?
Number 11, verse 11. And the angel of the Elohim said unto her, Behold, thou art with child, and shall bear a son, and shall call his name Ishmael, because the Elohim hath heard thy affliction. Okay,
and the angel continues. See, now you're with child. You're going to have a little boy. Call his name Ishmael, which means God hears, because the Lord has heard and paid attention to your affliction. He know that she told you to go up in there and do that, but he didn't tell you to get cocky either. But he's still going to show you some mercy, just like he's going to show you some mercy. So you go on back, and he's going to multiply the descendants of your son, Ishmael. Mm-hmm. He's not going to diss him and kick him to the curb, because it wasn't your fault. He went up in there. That was on Sarah. Mm-hmm. Okay, keep going.
And he shall be a wild man. His hand will be against every man, and every man's hand against him. and he shall dwell in the presence of all his brethren.
Okay, hold up. Let's tighten that up because see now we're talking about the real Egyptians.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, before it was symbolic for bondage.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're really talking about the real Egyptians. Check this out. And he, talking about Ishmael, will be a wild ass among men. He gonna be a wild ass among men. His hand will be against every man, and every man's hand against him. And he will live to the east and on the borders of all his kinsmen. So his hand is gonna be against everybody. And then everybody's hands is gonna be against him. Was not everybody's hands against Africa?
Mm-hmm.
They still against you right now today.
Mm-hmm.
And he was against everybody else too, including us,
Mm-hmm.
because the Africans would help sell us into slavery. They would help capture us, the Hebrews, to sell us into slavery. He was against us too. We wasn't on the same team. That's why I don't like being called African American. No, the hell no, I'm not. Hebrew Israelite Shemite.
Mm-hmm.
Not African. No.
And the Africans knew we weren't the same people. That's why they sold us.
That's why they sold us. They knew that we were Yah's people, them blessed people, them people that MC Hammer would say can't touch this, because they couldn't touch us either. Look what Yah did to Egypt when he wouldn't let them go. We wiped them out through them 10 plagues. You want to play with me? Really? Your hands too short to box with me, boo-boo, get it? You don't play with me. I wiped you out. He did. He sent all them plagues. I don't know who that was that said your hands too short to box with God, but I heard that. Somebody said it a long time ago. It was a play or something. But anyway, they are.
And when you see the Egypt of today, and you see, oh, they're going over there investigating the ruins. Well, why do you think it's ruined?
Because they was messing with Yah's people. Why you think they hated us? Why
Yeah.
you think they was going out there to help capture us?
Yeah.
Oh, here they go. Here the little Hebrews go. Take them, make slaves of them. Get them up out of here.
Right.
They thought that was going to work out good for them. But it didn't work out good for them either.
Mm-hmm.
Because they came back and they took over your land, took over your country. And so let's keep going.
Okay, and she called the name of the Elohim that spake unto her, Thou Elohim seest me. For she said, Have I also here looked after him that seeth me?
Okay, so she called the name of the Lord who spoke to her. You are a God of seeing, for she said, Have I not even here in the wilderness looked upon him who sees me and live? Or have I here also seen the future purpose or designs of him who sees me? He just gave her a vision of what was to come.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, keep going.
Wherefore the well is called Ber Laia Roi.
Ber Laia Roi.
Mm-hmm. Behold, it is between Kadesh and Bered.
Let me see if there's a track. Therefore, the living well was called Ber Laia Roi, a well to the living one who sees. That's what that word Ber Laia Roi means. A well to the living. It means living one who sees, and it's between Kadesh and Bered. Okay, keep going.
Okay. And Hagar bare Abram a son, and Abram called his son's name, which Hagar bare, Ishmael.
Just like the angel told him, we have a little boy, call his name Ishmael. Okay.
And Abram was 86 years old when Hagar bare Ishmael to Abram.
In other words, Abram was 86 years old
Mm-hmm.
when Hagar gave him that child. 86. How many of you want to have a baby at 86? I know I don't. I ain't even 86. We're done here.
Yeah.
And we ain't even nowhere near there. We have 7 more minutes left. Let's just go over. You want to go over some notes or you want to keep digging? Because it gets good. It keeps...
You want to keep going on and try to get this other chapter in?
Yeah, let's try to get it in. I doubt if we're going to make it with your wife talking so much. Okay, let's try.
And when Abram was 90 years old and 9, the Elohim appeared to Abram and said unto him, I am the Almighty Yahweh. Walk before me and be thou perfect.
Okay, we're talking about the covenant of circumcision. Ooh, ow. This is one time I was glad I was a woman. Okay, hold on. When Abram was 99 years old, the Lord, or Elohim, appeared to him and said, I am the Almighty God. I'm the Almighty Yah. walk and live habitually before me and be perfect. In other words, be blameless, wholehearted, and complete. He knew he couldn't be perfect. Be blameless. In other words, do what I asked you to do. Okay, with your whole heart, and you'll be complete. Okay, keep going.
And I will make my covenant between me and thee, and will multiply thee exceedingly.
And I will make my covenant or my solemn pledge between me and you, and will multiply you exceedingly.
And Abram fell on his face, and Yahweh talked with him, saying, As for me, behold, my covenant is with thee, and thou shalt be a father of many nations.
Okay, he said, my covenant, my solemn pledge is with you, and you shall be the father of many nations. 5.
Neither shall thy name any more be called Abram, but thy name shall be Abraham. For a father of many nations have I made thee.
Okay, so nor should your name no longer be Abram, high exalted father, but your name shall be Abraham, father of a multitude. So Abram meant high exalted father, but now Abraham is meaning father of a multitude, for I have made you the father of many nations.
Okay. And I will make thee exceeding fruitful, and I will make nations of thee, and kings shall come out of thee. And I will establish my covenant between me and thee, and thy seed after thee, in their generations, for an everlasting covenant, to be a Elohim unto thee, and to thy seed after thee.
Okay, and I will establish my covenant between me and you and your descendants after you throughout their generations for an everlasting solemn pledge to be a God to you and to your posterity after you.
And I will give unto thee and to thy seed after thee the land wherein thou art a stranger, all the land of Canaan, for an everlasting possession, and I will be their Elohim.
Okay, I just want to point out that here in 7, he says, I am going to be a God to you and your posterity. Wait a minute. What number was that?
8.
That was 8.
Oh, yeah.
It's strange going from place to place, accounting for the elephants, and everything for you. You should keep my covenant. No. Okay, that was 7. He said, I'm going to be a God to you and to your posterity after you. I'm going to be a God to you and your descendants. I'm not going to be the God of the whole world.
No.
I'm just going to be your God and your descendants' God. You know why? Because all those other people, all those other races, they have their own gods.
Yep.
And they don't like me. And I chose you. I'm going to be your God, Abraham, and to your descendants. Only you. And that's why we got in trouble. Because he was the only true and living God. All the other gods were fake gods, made out of wood, made out of stone, made out of people's imaginations. Yeah. And then we had the nerves to want to serve and worship the stones and folks' imagination, the fake gods that can't move, can't talk, can't breathe, can't help, can't bless, can't love, can't give, can't sacrifice, can't do, can't redeem, can't make you righteous, can't save. Really? That's how you feel? I'm just going to be your God. Nobody else's. I'm the true and living God. And because I'm your God, can't nobody touch y'all. I'm going to make you untouchable.
Hallelujah.
But you going to trade me in for gods that can't really help you? Oh, y'all got me twisted. Y'all got me bent. Okay, let's keep going.
And I will give unto thee and to thy seed the land wherein thou art a stranger, all the land of Canaan for an everlasting possession, and I will be their Elohim.
And I will give to you and to your posterity after you the land in which you are a stranger, going from place to place, all the land of Canaan, for an everlasting possession, and I will be their God. You're his descendants. Okay?
And Yahweh said unto Abraham, Thou shalt keep my covenant, therefore thou and thy seed after thee in their generation.
Okay, and God said to Abraham, as for you, you shall therefore keep my covenant.
This is
Wait a minute. Hold on. Keep my covenant, you and your descendants after you throughout all their generations. He didn't tell nobody else to keep their covenant.
No.
He didn't tell the Romans, the Greek, the Persianites, the Jebusites, the
Canaanites.
he's talking to Abraham.
Mm-hmm.
He's talking to Abraham, the Hebrews, those descendants. He ain't talking to the Egyptians. He ain't talking to none of that. He's talking to Abraham. He's talking to the Hebrews.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, keep going.
And this is my covenant which ye shall keep between me and you and thy seed after thee. Every man child among you shall be circumcised.
Okay, once again, this is my covenant between me and you and your seeds, your generations, all them little descendants, them little stars, your descendants. This is my covenant between us, just us. No one else, not my covenant between nobody else, not with the Romans, not with the Greeks, not with the Persians, not with the Catholics, not with... No, just me and you, little Hebrew man, and your Hebrew descendants. And now all of your men gonna have to be circumcised. Oh, hallelujah, thank you. I wasn't a man. Okay, let's go.
And ye shall be circumcised the flesh of your foreskin, and it shall be a token of the covenant betwixt me and you.
Okay, and see, that is the sign, the token of the covenant that you and all your descendants, all the men, get circumcised. How many of you know that the longer you wait to be circumcised, the more painful it is? Y'all do know he was 86 when he had Ishmael.
Yep.
So he's in his 80s. And y'all telling him he got to get circumcised. Ow. Okay. What number we on? 12?
12. Yes.
All right, let's go.
And he that is 8 days old shall be circumcised among you, every man child in your generations, he that is born in the house or brought with money of any stranger, which is not of thy seed.
Okay, let's clear that up. He who's 8 days old among you shall be circumcised. You wait till the baby is 8 days old, and then you circumcise him. And that's the best way to do it. But guess what's got to happen? All them men that's already there, part of Abraham's house, they got to get circumcised. Oh, that's gonna hurt. Hold on. So when you're 8 days old, get circumcised, every male throughout your generation, whether they born in your house or bought with your money from any foreigner, not of your offspring. So even your servants that's in your house, they gotta get circumcised. Everybody in your house gotta get circumcised. Okay, I'm glad I wasn't in your house. I'm glad I wasn't a man. Let's go.
He that is born in thy house and he that is bought with thy money must needs be circumcised, and my covenant shall be in your flesh for an everlasting covenant.
Okay. He that is born in your house, bought with your money, must be circumcised. This is a covenant that he's making between Abraham only, not with no other ethnicity, race, culture of people, just the Hebrew Israelites from Abraham and his descendants. And this is going to be, this covenant is going to be made in your flesh. See, you know, he did a covenant with Noah with that rainbow to say, I'm never going to destroy the world again with water. Now he's making a covenant with Abraham, saying that this is a covenant between me and you, that you are going to walk habitually before me, be blameless and wholehearted and complete. And this is what we're going to do to seal this covenant. Y'all are going to cut the foreskin off of your penises. Okay. So he said it's going to be in your flesh for everlasting covenant. How many of you know that a lot of those other people weren't circumcising their kids? Their boys have been around with all that extra skin.
Yeah.
They weren't circumcised.
We're not.
Just Abram and his descendants. Okay, let's go. 14.
And the uncircumcised man-child, whose flesh of his foreskin is not circumcised, that soul shall be cut off from his people. He hath broken my covenant.
And the male who's not circumcised is cut off from us. Any people, your seeds, your descendants that's not circumcised, y'all you're getting cut off because you broke my covenant. You're done. You're out of here. You're not a part of us. Yep. I don't owe you no promise to inherit nothing. Okay, 15.
And Yahweh said unto Abraham, as for Sarai thy wife, thou shalt not call her name Sarai, but Sarah shall be her name.
Okay, so he's telling now he's changing his wife's name. How many of you know that a lot of times when Yah uses you or goes in a covenant with you, a lot of times he'll change your name to reflect the new covenant and how he's using you. So he's saying your wife her name ain't gonna be Sarai no more, but Sarah, which means princess. All right, number 16.
And I will bless her and give thee a son also of her. Yea, will I bless her, and she shall be the mother of nations. Kings of people shall be of her.
Okay, we are running a little bit over. We are 5 minutes after our hour, but we almost done. We're going to finish this. If y'all can just bear with us a little bit. Okay, so he's saying, I will bless her and give you a son by her. I will bless her, and she shall be a mother of nations. Kings of people, kings, going to come from her. All right.
Then Abram fell upon his face and laughed, and said in his heart, shall a child be born unto him that is 100 years old? And shall Sarah that is 90 years old bear?
Okay, you know what? Now this is what confused me. Because first of all, you was 80-something years old, and didn't you bear a child with Hagar? Okay, so why you think it's so impossible now? You just did this with Hagar. You wasn't laughing at all that when she came pregnant. So why you think that's funny now? I just found it a little bit disrespectful. Tell me you gonna fell on his face and laugh and said in his heart. He didn't say it out loud, he said it in his heart. But how many of y'all know y'all can reach your heart? They can reach your heart, child. So be careful what you think in your heart. And a lot of times I'm glad he can read my heart. Because when people misunderstand me, y'all knew what I meant. Because he knew what my heart was trying to say. So he fell on his face and he laughing in his heart. And talking about, can a son be born to a man who is 100 years old? Oh, you're 100. But it wasn't impossible to have one at 86. Whatever. And Sarah, who is 90 years old, she going to bear a son? And my wife is 90. Wow. Okay, keep going.
Okay. And Abraham said unto Yahweh, that Ishmael might live before thee.
He said to God, oh, that Ishmael might live before you. So he figured, okay, that's it. I'm hoping that Ishmael going to live before you, because ain't no way another one coming up out of here. And I'm about as old as dirt. And my wife is just older than dirt. She didn't even went through she's 90 years old. How many, by the time you get your 90, you done went through the change. You can't have no more kids. All your eggs is gone. They've been fried, scrambled, medium, well. They're gone. They're gone. You born here with all the eggs you going to have. And by the time you start to be 40, 50, some people 60, you started going through the change of life. They call it menopause. Okay, that just simply means you're no longer able to bear children. All your eggs is gone. Y'all done cooked them all. They done fried them and everything. They just gone, child. Just dust down there. Now, okay, let's keep going.
And Yahweh said, Sarai, thy wife, shall bear thee a son indeed, and thou shalt call his name Isaac. And I will establish my covenant with him for an everlasting covenant, and with his seed after him.
Okay, so y'all saying, Sarah, your wife, she is going to bear your son. How you going to talk about, can she do this at her age? She 90 years old. Can she do it? But you did it at 86. That wasn't impossible. Okay, here we go. And she going to give you a son, I said. And you going to call his name Isaac, which means laughter. And I'm establish my covenant or my pledge with him for everlasting covenant. And with his descendants, his posterity, all of his descendants. In the 20.
Okay. And as for Ishmael, I have heard thee. Behold, I have blessed him, and I will make him fruitful, and will multiply him exceedingly. 12 princes shall he beget, and I will make him a great nation.
Okay, so he said, he said to Yah in 18, oh, that Ishmael might live before you. Can you do something wonderful with my son? Since I might not be able to have no more kids, that'll be my only descendant. And Yah is telling him in 20, I heard you, and I'm going to bless him. And I ain't forgot about him. I heard you. I'm going to bless him, and I'm going to make him fruitful, and I'm going to multiply him exceedingly too. And he's going to be the father of 12 princes. Okay? And I'm going to make him a great nation. All right.
But my covenant will I establish with Isaac, which Sarah shall bear unto thee at this set time in the next year.
He said, now I'm going to bless Ishmael, because y'all was out of order. I didn't ordain that. I didn't tell you to do that. I didn't tell you to go up in there and sleep with her. Your wife told you that. That sounds like what happened in the garden. Okay? Yah told Adam not to do something, but his wife, he was convinced through his wife. I mean, he saw that when she did it, nothing happened, so he thought he was going to get the same results, and it didn't. Okay? So he is saying that, yeah, even though y'all messed up and got ahead of yourself and tried to go outside my covenant, I'm not gonna hold that against Ishmael. That child is totally innocent. So I'm gonna bless him too. He's gonna be a wild ass, but I'm gonna bless him. And I'm gonna make him, he's gonna be the father of 12 princes gonna come from his line. Yep. Okay? So, but my covenant, my promise, as original in the original plan, it's going to establish with Isaac, whom Sarah, your wife, not your mistress, not your heifer, not your hoe, your wife, the one that you're in covenant with. I'm going to bless that son and make my covenant with him. My covenant ain't going to be with Ishmael, although he's going to be blessed. But Ishmael was not the intended one. Okay, y'all came up with that on your own. But I'm going to bless him anyhow. Anywho. But my covenant going to be with the one that you and your wife had. Not the one that you and your little mistress, your little side piece had. Okay? Okay, we almost there. Hang on there.
And he left off talking with him. And Yahweh went up from Abraham.
So anyway, y'all stopped talking to him. And he didn't left. Vamonos.
Okay. And Abraham took Ishmael his son, and all that were born in his house, and all that were bought with his money, every male among the men of Abraham's house, and circumcised the flesh of their foreskin in the selfsame day as Yahweh had said unto him.
Okay, so now Abraham took Ishmael, his son, and all those men in his house, whether he bought them with his money, where he bought them all, he circumcised them all. He had like 300 and something men. Remember when he went to war with them people to get his nephew back? It was 300 and something of them. He is doing that all in one day. He going around cutting off the foreskin of 300 and some odd men in a day. Oh, it's some soul people. You know they doing a Chinese shuffle. They ain't walking for a couple of days. They all swole up and, oh, it's painful. And you know what? They ain't even got no ibuprofen. I don't know what they using. Okay, so he went around and circumcised all them 300 people. He was a tied butt at the end of that day. 24?
Okay, and Abraham was 90 years old and 9 when he was circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin.
Who circumcised him? Did he cut his own skin? And Abraham was 99 years old when he was circumcised. I wonder who circumcised him. He had to get somebody to cut him. You had to be a bold Mickey Ficky to cut your own foreskin off. Oh, okay, keep going.
And Ishmael, his son, was 13 years old when he was circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin.
Okay. So Ishmael, he caught it too. He done, oh, they ain't moving, they rocking, they just laid out. Oh, Father, oh, Elohim, oh, there's a whole lot of mourning going on. That boy 13 years old. The older you are, the harder it's going to be on you. And Abram was 90. You know what? Oh, I could pass out for y'all. Okay, keep going.
In the selfsame day was Abraham circumcised, and Ishmael his son, and all the men of his house born in the house and bought with money of the stranger were circumcised with him.
Okay, this story is leaving off, but everybody just laid back like, oh. We ain't moving. Testicles are swole up. Penis is swollen up. Everything is bandaged up. Oh my goodness. Don't move, don't breathe, don't touch it.
But not have to pee.
Oh, you know what? Ooh, you better have a cold white with a little something to pat it. Oh, because how many of you know urine stings a little bit? I know after having children, giving birth to children, ooh, you gotta pat that kitty cat with some cool cloth, because your urine stings. It has salt in it.
Yes.
And we're gonna leave it right there. Thank you for bearing with us 14 extra minutes.
Hallelujah.
It was as the world turns today. Ooh, I felt that personally. See, yeah, my empathy was strong, but we're gonna let y'all go because we didn't have. I hope you learned something. I hope that lesson was just really, really exciting for you and good. How many of y'all would have beat Hagar down with me, or was I just gonna take a beat her down by myself? Cause I could go there too. She gonna get the beat down. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. I try to make it. I try to bring it to life. I try to act it out. I try to make you see what's really going on. I hope we accomplished that today. I'm gonna let you go. Enjoy the rest of your day. This is Mama Sia
and Papa Sia
wishing you a happy Shabbat Shalom. Until next week, peace. All praise, honor, and glory to the Most High Yah. Shalom.
Shalom.